everyone. Welcome to Civil War Time Machine, Episode 2. My name is Ranger Barb Sanders. I'm so happy to have you join us. Those of you who watched last week, you knew we were talking about a Civil War soldier on campaign, marching from place to place. Today we're going to talk about being in camp, a Civil War soldier in camp. So teachers, if you've already registered for Civil War Time Machine in the 4 episodes, you have the pre-visit lessons or the pre-program lessons, and maybe you've prepared your students a Civil War lunch, with only things that Civil War soldiers would have had available to them. That's mostly what we're going to talk about today. What did Civil War soldiers eat? What were they issued? How did they prepare that food? And to get us started, I want you to think about a day when you were so hungry. Maybe you had worked really hard at school, or you had a couple of soccer games or something, and you could not wait to get back home and eat what? What were you hoping to have for dinner that night? Well, I'm betting it wasn't anything that looked like this. This is a piece of hardtack. I made it myself. There's a recipe on our website as well as in those pre-program lessons that you can get at gett_education@nps.gov. I made this myself. I haven't exactly eaten it yet, but I have a feeling it's not going to taste great. Let's give it a try. Not the best meal I've ever had, but we got a Civil War soldier over here. Same soldier we met last week, a Confederate soldier. He seems to be cooking up something a little better than this hardtack. Let's see what he has. Hello there.
Hi.
What are you preparing today?
Well, right now I am frying up a ration of pork. Specifically, this is salt pork.
Now, a ration is what exactly?
A ration is a meal that is issued to the soldiers by the Army.
Okay, so you only get so much, and usually I think you would issue 3 days of rations, so enough food that you have to figure out how to last for 3 days.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we could either cook it in individual meals, or in some cases, some soldiers like to cook it all at once and carry it cooked and then eat over the next 3 days.
Now, what is salt pork? Why is it salt pork?
Well,
it looks kind of like thick bacon to me.
Yeah, it's kind of like thick bacon. It is essentially the meat of a pig that's been cut into really big chunks, and then this was packed into a barrel filled with salt.
Why? Do soldiers like salty food?
Well, they tell us that keeps it from rotting while it's in storage.
I see.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Now, it looks like it has a lot more fat on than meat.
Yes, it is definitely the fattier part of the pig.
So how do you prepare? Do you prepare this for some tent mates, or what do you do to make it become a full good meal after marching all day?
Well, what we do is we get together and form what's called a mess. That's a group of 6 to 8 soldiers. And one of us will carry the frying pan, and someone else will carry his food, so he's not carrying a whole lot of weight with that frying pan plus his food. And maybe we'll combine the fat. You can see the fat is becoming liquid as it fries off. Grease. We'll take that and we'll take our flour ration. That's what I have in my cup here. Just plain flour, ground down from wheat. And we'll combine that with a little bit of water and some of the grease, and maybe make like a biscuit in the frying pan.
Oh, wow. Okay. Great. What else do you have? And do you like hardtack, or in the Confederate Army were you issued cornmeal?
Most of the time we get cornmeal. I've heard about that Yankee hardtack. It doesn't sound too good to me, but we picked some up when we invaded Winchester. That's what I've got here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And it looks like you got some kind of beans there in your cup.
Oh, yes.
I've heard that soldiers love coffee.
Yes, that is, I think, the best thing that us soldiers get issued with our rations. It's my favorite drink. But there's a lot of work that goes into it because, as you've already pointed out, this is how they give it to us.
In beans.
We have to go from there it's actually making a drink out of that.
And you certainly don't have a coffee pot.
Yep. So what we'll do is we'll take this tool here. Now this is not normally used for cooking. This is our bayonet used for fighting. Well, we can use this end of the bayonet as a coffee grinder. Just sort of use the other end of the bayonet in the bottom of the cup, and it takes a while, but eventually we'll get ground up coffee. Now it's not going to be a nice fine powder like we might get in a coffee house in a city.
Right.
It's going to be pretty coarse still yet, but eventually we'll grind it down, and after that add a little bit of water, or a lot of water actually, to this cup, and then put it right on the fire and boil the coffee beans that have been ground up in the water. And that makes us a pretty delicious and highly caffeinated drink.
Now, if you put milk in your coffee, I guess you're hoping you're marching by a field of cows that day.
That's the only way we're going to get it.
Yeah. How else do you use the farms or wherever where you're marching to supplement your diet?
Well, the officers don't really much care for this, but sometimes we get bored with the salt pork and the flour and the coffee and sometimes some Yankee hardtack day after day after day. So as we're marching along, every once in a while you come across a farm that maybe has some things that look pretty delicious on it. And maybe a couple soldiers slip away from the lines and do what we call foraging. Now,
your hat looks like it's a nice, roomy hat to forage some apples or
yes,
extra supplies from a nearby farm.
here lately we've come across a lot of cherries on these farms up here in Pennsylvania. There happens to be a lot of fruit orchards in the area. Now the fruit's not exactly ripe yet in July, but you get what you can.
Now, do you feel that you're well fed when you start a march or head into battle?
Depends. I've gone into battle many a time hungry, that's for sure. And in many cases, that's a pretty good motivation to win the battle, so you can get some food afterwards.
That is looking pretty good right there. Well, sir, we sure do appreciate you talking to us about the Civil War food rations. We're going to let you have your breakfast or lunch or whatever you're fixing there.
Alrighty.
And we wish you the best of luck.
It was nice talking to y'all.
You as well. You've heard it. That's what a Civil War soldier eats. That's what he's issued. That's how he makes the best of it. So remember that tonight when you're having your nice dinner in your nice warm house. And be sure to tune in next week, Civil War Time Machine, when we're going to be talking about how Civil War soldiers drilled to prepare for battle. Thanks for tuning in.